Welcome, and Accounts here for the Rabbit Hole Designs. Today we're going to create a card using the new What's the Buzz stencil. This is a 3-piece layering stencil. So all of our stencils that are layered like this will have a number to let you know what's going on, and they each have etched the name. So right here in the corner, I'm not sure if you can see that, if my camera's picking it up, you'll have the number that coordinates. So this is number 2, and then they layer 1 to create the little body of the bee. And then the last stencil will be the little wings, and that's number 3. So once you have them all layered appropriately, you should have a finished bee. Now it's hard to see like this because they're nice and thick stencils, so it's harder to tell. So we're going to use some distressed oxide and squeeze lemonade, black soot, and tumbled glass for our stencils. And we're also going to use the Rabbit Hole Design stencil brushes, the little mini ones. So I also have the Peaceful Bee hot foil plates. This has the big peace sign with the floral, and then the words that you can hot foil. It has a bee, and then humble, kind, happy. So today we're going to use Be Happy, and it's bee like the bumblebee. I'm going to use some Glimmer hot foil in gold, and I'm going to use Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil cardstock. I just have mine cut down like that in shorter panels. I went ahead and did that off screen just to save us a little time, and I fussy cut all the way around it. So we're also going to be using our layering dies, and this is You've Been Framed layering dies. You get 3 layering dies, and they all have this little dot dash kind of design on all 3 of them. So you have the bigger one, the medium, and then the small. The large one fits an A2 size card, and then they go down about 1/4 inch or so. Then you have 2 banner or sentiment die, and then you have this etched. It cuts into your cardstock or paper. It doesn't cut around it or anything else. It just like kind of cuts an embossed area. I'll have to make a card with this so you can see how beautiful it is. Alright, so I did use the layering dies here. So here is my card base. It's a 110-pound white cardstock. Layering cardstock, I have about 65 weight. And here you can see I use it, and it cuts down perfectly to an A2 size. And then yellow cardstock, and then you can see how they just layer and nest within each other. And I have 80-pound accent ultra smooth cardstock that I'm going to use for our stenciling, and then I'll die cut that once our stenciling is finished. So this is how I'm going to lay it out, and then we're going to go ahead and start stenciling. So let's jump into our project. I'm going to start using black soot, and I'm just going to fill in all of our little bees here. And this will have the thorax part of the chest part of the bee, and some of the stinger, the layers and the stinger part, the little antennae, and the little legs of the bee. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this all on there, and we're going to cover this whole panel, even though we're cutting it down, just to get the whole panel done. It's easier this way. That way I can choose where on the panel I want to cut my, use my die on and cut it down from. And it goes pretty quickly. Even though I have this bed up here for the video purposes, it does go quickly. Just filling it in with your ink. So I'm just going to go and fill all these in, and I'm sure we use a larger brush. I use my smaller. I don't use black soot very often, so I only have a small brush dedicated to this for this color. So I'm going to get a bigger brush dedicated to black soot now, because if I had a bigger brush, it would have been done faster with this portion of the card. But it does go, like I said, pretty quickly. And I didn't put any pixie spray on this or anything. I'm just holding it in place. It's a pretty easy one, but if you feel more comfortable putting pixie spray, you can do that. So there's part of our bee. Now we're going to grab our next layer and squeeze Lemonade Oxide, Distress Oxide ink. We're going to put this on here, and as you can see, once you shift it, all the stuff, all the areas that you inked with your black soot will be covered, will be masked by the stencil, and you'll only have the opening area of the new section for you to ink through. So I'm going to quickly move through this. Now this one goes pretty quick as well. I'm just going to fill in our little area here with the squeezed lemonade, and we're slowly building our bee. And this is a new, as part of our new release. Again, this is the What's the Buzz stencil, and I'll have it linked for you in the description box below. It'll take you straight to the shop for you to, you know, purchase your own 3-layer What's the Buzz stencil. So there's the other portion of our bee. How cute is that? Now we're going to go ahead and bring in our wings. This is number 3, but the best way to make sure you're getting everything lined up is always to have, you know, your numbers, you know, they're on the bottom right. Keep everything on the bottom right. Alright, so now we're going to go in with Tumbled Glass for our wings. And I started out here a little bit darker than I wanted towards the top, but then I start going a little less pressure on my brush. The lighter pressure, the lighter the wings will look. The darker the pressure, the darker the wings will look. And I wanted my wings to be just light, because bees' wings are transparent. You know, they're iridescent really, and transparent. So I didn't want them to be too dark. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and, this is going pretty quickly, there's the little wings, and filling those in. And once we do that, this portion of it is done. Now, after I finished this card, I thought to myself, a little glittery paste would be nice to put through the wing stencil after you do your inking. Put a little something glimmery through it, just to give it that shimmer and shine. But didn't think of it then. So if I do create another card with this, which I will be doing that. So if you like a little glitz in your, you know, card design, that's a good tip to, you know, after you're done inking for that little color pop, put the, you know, a little glitter kind of paste through it. Right, so there's our card panel all complete with our little bumblebees, and then I'm going to figure out where I want to cut these little bees from, and I'm just going to move my stencil, my die across until I get it exactly where I want it, and then I'll run it through my die machine. Now my die machine is off screen, so I quickly did that, and now I have all my pieces, but my mat still has ink on it, and I don't want ink transferring into anywhere else on my project, so I'm going to do a quick cleanup, and then we're going to go ahead and start building our card. So I'm going to bring in some Barely Art glue here. It's my glue preference. You can use whatever glue you prefer. And I'm going to adhere all my panels together. So I adhere the yellow panel onto the black, and then our bee panel onto the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is pretty easy to put on here. It centers it for you. You know, they're just nesting die, so you just follow it as is, and it'll just nest all nicely for you. So go ahead and put that last panel on here. Once I have that on, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base. So here's my card base. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. And I go right through the little parts where the die cut circles are, because I want my panel to adhere completely flat onto my card base. And then I just wipe off any excess glue that might seep through with my fingers, just like that. And Barely Art glue dries nice and clear, so I don't have a problem, and it dries non-sticky, which is great. Alright, so what I love is that through those little holes that I've cut out, you can see the white, and then through the black, and then through the yellow you can see the black coming through, and through the bee panel you can see the yellow coming through, so you keep repeating that color family. Alright, so here's our sentiment. Like I said, I foiled it with some gold foil. It's called Be Happy. And I fussy cut all around it. And now I'm going to use some small foam dots or tabs. And I'm going to place this on our card. I'm just going to cut down these little tabs to make sure I get this little area here. And then I'm just going to remove all the backing and place this. I'm going to pretty much center it, but a little bit more towards the top. And it goes right across that panel that we just die cut with all the bees on it. So it fits nicely the way it was done. I'd make sure I put, I anchored the two words together. They come separate, so you can foil and cut them out separately. But I wanted them to be one long sentiment across my card. Alright, so I'm going to remove the rest of the backing here and place this onto my card panel, my card base, or card panel, card front. There we go. Trying to get this as straight as possible, making sure that it is, and it's not, so I'm going to bring in my ruler to make sure I get this to even out. Just move it so. There we go. Once it's on straight, I'm going to bring in some some confetti in gold and black, just as a finishing touch. So I'm going to quickly pour some of these out. I should have poured them out beforehand. Sorry about that. I'm just going to put 2 gold down here on the bottom left and 1 towards the top. So I put 2, a big and a medium confetti here towards the bottom, and then 1 small gold confetti towards the top left hand corner. Right hand corner. I know my left and my right. And then I will add some black. I add 1 black to the bottom right, to the bottom left. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? And 1 to the top right. Oh, it's one of those days. It's been one of those days. Alright, so now our card is complete. So this was pretty quick and easy. Just using the dies to help cut everything out. The stenciling, as you can see, went pretty quickly. And it creates such a cute little design. You can use it like I did all around, or you can just put some here and there. So again, let me grab my layering stencils. We used the What's the Buzz layering stencil, the Peaceful Bee hot foil plates, and the You've Been Framed layering dies. So I want to thank you for being here. I'll have everything in the description box below for you. And here are a few more looks at our card. Thank you for being here, and I hope you found some inspiration.